contest results. Awesome. So there we go. Okay, I've got chat here. I've got chat there. And hopefully, I see way too many Catherines on my screen. It's freaking me out. There we go. And so hopefully we can talk about all the things we need to talk about. So I do have all our contest entrants in the Zandra Rhodes hat. And I've got to show you this without tipping it upside down. But this, oh my gosh, guys, you might remember a week ago, it was a week ago, it was last Sunday, I went to Zandra Rhodes' rummage sale, and it was like the most surreal thing I think I've ever seen in my years of treasure hunting. So there's a fashion designer in the UK called Zandra Rhodes, and she's pretty fabulous. She has pink hair. She's kind of in the same vein, same era as Vivienne Westwood, that she designed things for like Princess Diana, Freddie Mercury, a lot of these kind of people. And she was having a rummage sale in Solana Beach, Del Mar, in San Diego. So I figured, okay, I can't miss this. I need to go and see what Zandra Rhodes is selling at her rummage sale. And she was literally standing there in her apron with a big hat, just selling stuff, like random stuff. She said, oh, I'm downsizing my studio. And I'm moving out my studio and moving to another studio. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she was literally selling off her stuff. And if you look up Zandra Rhodes clothes on eBay or just look them up on like Saks Fifth Avenue or something, they are selling for big bucks. But this is what I bought. And you're going to be so proud of me, treasure hunters. I bought this fantastic fake cake. Whoops, I got to bring it down here so you can see it. This is Zandra Rhodes' fake cake. And she made it for the Magic Flute, for a production of the Magic Flute for, I think it was the La Jolla Opera. And I just thought it was fabulous that I could buy a handmade Zandra Rhodes fake cake. So that was what I bought. I also bought a pink candlestick for $3. I haven't got the candlestick to show you, but that was pretty fabulous. And she signed 3 of these hats for $1 each. And it was so funny because my son Sid, he was like, I don't think I like pink anymore. I don't think I want a pink hat. And then I said, are you sure, Sid? And then Zandra Rhodes signed the pink hat for Sid. And he put it on, and then he was like, this is my hat. And I said, I think I'm going to sell it. And he said, no, you can't sell my pink hat. And he wore it all day because I guess he's a diva. So that's Zandra Rhodes' pink hats. So I think I might keep one of them, so at least Sid can enjoy it. But I might sell the other 2 because I think they're pretty awesome. Oh, hey, Bob joined us. You missed my fake cake, Bob. I was showing off my fake cake. Oh, it's still got the $15 price tag on. I don't know why this was $15 and the candlestick was $3. But I guess this is a work of art. This is like handmade by famous fashion designer. So all is good with that. So in a minute, we're going to do the contest. The entrants are in there. We're kind of on a happy birthday to treasure hunting. We hit 1 people yesterday. And actually, we got another 100 yesterday. And I totally blame Kay Radabow because she like posted about treasure hunting in a bunch of groups, and we suddenly had like 200 people overnight. So thank you, Kay. But yeah, we got a lot of people all of a sudden in treasure hunting, and we hit 11,111, which I just thought was such an awesome number that we had to do something. So we have got a giveaway. We're giving away membership to my big course, Create, which is all about white label, private label, and now it's crazy because I just put everything in it. So I said, okay, and now it includes our bundle class, our coloring book class, the sexual wellness class, the Facebook class, and all our software, the Skywords, and the Niche Machine, and the Sky Palette, and the Wholesale Directory, and I don't know, a bunch of other things. Oh, Sky AI as well, Isaac's amazing AI system. So it includes all of those things. So one lucky winner will be getting that really soon. Oh, Facebook glitched, but I think we're back. But before that, I want to talk about this week because it's been a weird weird week in FBA. So there was a blog post, and it kind of implied that the end is nigh for retail arbitrage. Now, that's a very inflammatory kind of viewpoint, but also it's a viewpoint that's been around like forever, since I've been doing retail arbitrage. The seller forums particularly have been full of the retail arbitrage, that's not a proper business model, that's going to go the way of the dinosaur soon, everyone will be suspended who does retail arbitrage. And I think I saw that about 3 years ago when I was just starting retail arbitrage. And so far, still here. Yay! So far, still awesome 100% feedback. Yay! So I'm pretty happy. I'm not freaking out. Kind of picking into what's been going on and what is actually being said. I don't think the scenario is quite as bad as is being painted. So the blog post, which was on Cynthia Stein's blog, it says that what she thinks is going to happen, and she's heard it from 3 reliable sources who are sort of mysterious, shadowy Illuminati at Amazon, I think, who will remain nameless. Apparently, they have said that we will need receipts in October if we receive an inauthenticity claim on a product. Okay, so that's not such a big thing. Basically, what she's saying is if someone complains about a product that you sell, then you're going to need to provide some kind of proof to Amazon that your product is authentic. And what she's saying is it seems that no longer will retail receipts be accepted as proof. And this is only if you get hit with an inauthenticity claim. Now, let's talk about why you might get those. Why might you get an inauthenticity claim? Well, it seems that these are actually kind of rare. We do hear about them because when something happens on someone's account, they freak out and they tell Facebook and they say, help, what do I do? But I think we get a bigger perception of these than is actually happening. But you might get an inauthenticity claim if someone is unhappy, if a buyer is unhappy with a product they receive from you and they go, well, this doesn't look like a genuine product from this brand. So, for example, they buy Nike trainers from you or Nike sneakers from you, and they look at those and they go, well, this box isn't a genuine Nike box. They may complain to Amazon and say, yeah, I think these sneakers weren't genuine Nike. This could happen with anything. This has happened. I know people who've had inauthenticities on things like teapots, on things like bath soap, various things. The other reason you could get an inauthenticity claim is from a competitor who's complaining to Amazon about you. But I still think inauthenticity claims are kind of rare. I don't think they happen every day. Touch wood, I've never received one, and I've sold thousands of products, and touch wood, I've never had an inauthenticity claim. And most sellers, I've told some big sellers, and they do seem very, very rare. And most of the people who have had an inauthenticity claim have had the ASIN, that particular ASIN, suspended. They haven't had their accounts suspended. That is a sort of even more rare progression. Now, the risk of inauthenticity also seems to depend very much on what kind of products you're selling. So, for books, for example, an inauthenticity claim on a book is so unlikely. Books are probably the safest thing you can sell on Amazon. There are huge used bookstores on Amazon who are literally selling tens of thousands of books every day. Huge bookstores. And if they were shut down for an inauthenticity claim, their competitors would have shut each other down in literally days. So I really don't think that is going to happen. I don't think that you're going to see a lot of inauthenticity claims in books. And I think if you do, I think Amazon are going to probably react fairly reasonably. However, let's talk about more risky brands. Where I think you might see a higher level of risk is if you're doing retail arbitrage in places like Marshalls, TJ Maxx, and outlet malls. I think those kind of brands, especially things like Nike, Adidas, the big sports shoes manufacturers, electronics, trendy kitchen gadgets, they seem to be problematic. Sort of things like Zoku and Yeti cups, and there's some other kitchen products that seem to be problematic. But those are the kind of products that are much more likely to incur those inauthenticity problems. So I personally, I'm very wary now of buying products from Marshalls or TJ Maxx to resell on Amazon. And I used to do a lot of it. I'd buy, I love things like Philosophy bath sets. I used to sell a lot of shoes. But now, personally, I feel that, and this actually happened sort of before this blog post, I felt that those were becoming kind of risky brands to sell on Amazon. And it's not just inauthenticity claims from competitors or buyers. You've also got to worry about brand owners. And I think this is becoming another issue for Amazon in particular. And reading between the lines from the Women's Entrepreneurial Conference, it seems that that was very much geared towards brand owners. I think they said 75% of the people there, it may have been more actually, were brand owners. They weren't people doing the retail arbitrage model. And their focus was very much on brand owners. And this kind of pairs up with what I've seen about Amazon so far, that in the last few months, they have been pushing Vendor Express really, really hard. The guy, one of the sales managers from Vendor Express called me like 3 times in a week trying to get me on Vendor Express, which is basically, it's like Seller Central, but the idea is it's for vendors, it's for manufacturers and brand owners. And Amazon want you to sell your products wholesale direct to Amazon. And they really seem to be pushing that platform. But do I think that's going to kill FBA? No, I really don't. And here's why. I've met Amazon a few times. I met them last year at, they were talking about, actually it was earlier this year, they were talking about same-day shipping, merchant-fulfilled same-day shipping. And they really didn't know a lot about FBA. They were kind of there as a PR thing for same-day shipping. And they couldn't really answer any questions about FBA. They weren't very helpful about that. So the way I see Amazon working is their departments are very separate from each other. So although they might be pushing Vendor Express and they're urging brand owners to get on board, and they're obviously doing an outreach with brand owners, as you can tell by looking at the women's conference, which was the first real Amazon conference organized by Amazon. It seems they are very much focusing on brand owners, but I don't think that means the death of FBA. I don't think that means the death of retail arbitrage, because Amazon have other things going on. They want a lot of product on their store. They want the best prices on their store. They also want high quality products. They want genuine products. So they're kind of balancing all of those things out. And we see the pendulum kind of swinging back and forth, because brand owners are very protective of their brands, and they're getting really savvy with Amazon. A lot of brand owners are realizing that they can shut down retail arbitrage sellers very easily by claiming that a product is inauthentic, which is why I'm like, you need to be careful about which brands you're selling. But I do see that pendulum going back and forth as Amazon try and please the brand owners, they try and make them happy, but also they try and keep Amazon stocked. And what I would say in our defense as retail arbitragers is that 2 things. 1, Amazon Seller app. Like, that is obviously designed for use in stores, for use in your home, at yard sales. Yes, you can use it for wholesale showrooms or trade shows, but generally it is intended for checking products in stores. Oh, Bob says they also did a CES electronics conference private a few years ago. He went. That's cool, Bob. But I think, I don't know, was this the first big conference or was... Or was that part of CES? I don't know. They were at ASD as well, and they were talking about small and light products, but they didn't, again, they were talking about the small and light program, but it just seemed like a PR thing. They were just there to push that particular program. They weren't kind of pushing it. They weren't kind of giving a very holistic view of how Amazon works. And what I notice with Amazon especially is that they try stuff. They try a lot of things. They come out with a new policy and then they don't necessarily enforce it. They don't necessarily do anything about it. Or suddenly people will notice a policy that's been there for ages and it will become a big thing. Like the UPCs. Oh my gosh, that was like such a crazy furore of people worrying about UPCs and whether we should buy UPCs from resellers, and people got so worried about it and nothing happened. Everyone's still using their UPCs from Leading Edge. They're still doing okay, and it's been absolutely fine. So I see all this worrying. I see worrying about bundles. I see it about books. Like, don't worry about books. I can really say I would not worry about books. Unless you're selling brand new textbooks that you got off your friend Dave's truck, I would not worry about books. I would worry about high-level brands. I would worry about things like, we know like Dr. Dre's Beats. We know that's a problem. We know that like the insanity workouts, we know those are problems. And just a little bit further down from that are things like Nike, Adidas, all those kind of things. We know there's a potential problem there. But what I need to say is, as an entrepreneur, we kind of accept a certain level of risk. And that level of risk kind of depends on how much money you're investing, what point you're at in your career, what you've got to gain and what you've got to lose. And I've happily admitted that when I started off doing arbitrage, I did it in a way that I would not recommend now. I literally sold things from the store. I would stand in Nordstrom Rack, take pictures of things, post them on eBay, and sell them before I had them in my hands. I would wait till the money came in on PayPal to buy those products. And sometimes I would literally do it hanging out in the store, hanging out in Starbucks next door. And I wouldn't recommend that to anyone now because it carried a degree of risk and it wasn't sustainable. But I was totally broke. I needed a method to bring in capital. And that meant that I brought in capital. I could sort of kickstart my business. I could start doing things in a more legitimate way, and I could pay the rent. Awesome. Would I recommend all sellers do that? No, it's not a great business model. It's like a sticking plaster business model. And the way I look at Amazon sellers, and I think in treasure hunting, I see like this huge spectrum of sellers. There's a lot of people who are just starting out. And for them, going and buying things from yard sales makes perfect sense because they need to bring that capital in quickly. And yeah, there's a little bit of risk with yard sale products. There's risk that someone might complain about them. There's risk that you might have to prove authenticity on them and have a hard time doing that. There is some risk on those, but that risk might be worth it because of where you are in your career, how much money you've got invested, and what you've got to lose versus what you've got to gain. Now, if you kind of are a bit more established in your business, you have more capital, you have a lot invested in Amazon, then you're probably going to want to play it more safely and buy wholesale products and do everything 100% by the book, have brand authorization from the manufacturer or the vendor. Then you might want all of that. But you kind of, like, it's a bit insurmountable for small sellers to say, okay, you've got to jump straight in with wholesale, otherwise there's no point in doing this. There's a lot of point in doing retail arbitrage. You can make good money doing retail arbitrage, and even if they shut you down in 6 months, then maybe you made some good money doing retail arbitrage in that time. So it's kind of always a matter of balancing what you need versus what you have to lose, and what the actual risk is. And for a lot of the things I'm seeing people freaking out about, there just isn't that much risk. Like UPCs, for example. We've had so much stress. Should we buy UPCs directly from GS1? Well, ideally, yes, you should. Amazon recommend buying UPC codes direct from GS1. However, they don't say it's mandatory, and as far as I know, they haven't issued any performance notifications for this. I know one person who may have had an issue with UPCs, and that's in the whole wide, all the groups I follow, which have tens of thousands of people. I got 10,000 people in my own group. There's tens of thousands of people in the community, and I know of one person who may have had an issue with a UPC. So if you want to play things totally safe, then you go with what Amazon say. Great, get the GS1 codes. But for most people, that's going to kill that part of their business. They won't be able to create listings. They won't be able to create bundles. And there's really very little risk attached to doing that at the moment. So, like, giving up all that income on the hearsay of a risk that probably is never going to materialize is crazy. It's just bad risk assessment. And that's what I'm seeing going on here. Like, I think there is some bad risk assessment going on. Yes, it might come to a point where if you have an inauthenticity problem, Amazon may not be very happy with a retail receipt. But the chances are, if it happens to you once, they'll probably just close down that ASIN. It's unlikely they're going to shut down your account, no warning, just on that off chance. And also, in my experience, watching how ungating works and how suspensions have worked in the past, there's more leeway than that with Amazon. They don't just say, oh, this is now unacceptable. They do tend to look at proof and evidence. If you can show credit card receipts, if you can show if you can show solid receipts, a photograph of your product, then it's very likely that they will accept that as proof of authenticity. Like, I don't think we have seen any evidence yet that an inauthenticity claim is likely, B, if you get an inauthenticity claim, that you will be shut down, or C, that you won't be able to appeal it. I think we need to see a lot more evidence, a lot more proof, before we even begin to say, okay, we're done with retail arbitrage. Now let's look at the big picture though. Let's talk about big. Yeah, Bob says the sky is not falling. And I agree with you, Bob. I think it was funny. We were talking in the group and I posted that song, like, one drop of rain on your window pane doesn't mean to say there's a thunderstorm coming. Don't start running every time you hear it coming. Because I was getting carried away. I was about to start singing then. But that song, oh my gosh, I hear that every time I see one of these kind of freak out posts. Hi Michelle, welcome. I'm glad Michelle has joined us. So yeah, let's look at the big picture though. I think in the big picture, I do think not because of any policy or not because of any blog post or worry, but I do think that the ultimate goal in building a business is to work towards having your own brand and having your own platform if possible, or at least having multiple platforms. And one thing I've been thinking about a lot this week is the concept of brand mobility. And this is something that's kind of affected me personally. Like, I saw Spreecast. I used to be on Spreecast. That shut down. I moved to Blab, and then last week Blab shut down. Oh no. So I'm here on YouTube and Facebook, and YouTube's not working perfectly for me at the moment, but I'm giving it a good go. But now I'm on YouTube and Facebook because I can't be on Blab and Spreecast. So I did lose any viewers I had exclusively on Spreecast or Blab. But fortunately, I know that most of my viewers are probably coming from YouTube or from Facebook, because I kind of have a multi-platform setup going on. And also I'm trying to work on my website and put blog posts on my website and just try and keep on a number of platforms. And I think the same is 100% true with physical products. That I think if you can build a brand and not just be selling, like, the problem is if you sell other people's stuff on other people's platforms and that's your business model, that's a big risk, because the other person whose brand it is may shut you down. The other person whose platform it is may shut you down. And then you're left like, oh no, I've got to find a new platform. I've got to find a new product. And if you've got a diverse range of products and a diverse range of platforms, then you are in a safer place. There's a lot more options there. And I think that really, as a business, if you're building a sustainable business and if you're working towards the long term, then I really think it's a good idea to consider brand mobility. And the place I would start with building a brand, first of all, kind of think about your product. And your product should really be for a particular niche. And that's how I would recommend getting started with your brand. Think of a niche. And it can be anything. It could be homeschool products or products for kids with special needs. It could be pet products. It could be doggy products for big dogs. It could be like all kinds of cool niches out there. And also think about like, what do you have to offer? Like, if you're not just sort of selling tat, like what's your real brand about? Is it about, I think, and it was funny, I was reading a market research article and it said millennials want to see you giving something extra in the world these days. They don't just want you making money. They want to feel like you're giving a positive to the world. Like you have a message that's either environmental or it's promoting, say, women, or it's promoting like dog dog welfare, animal welfare. If you can integrate that in your brand, so your brand is kind of a positive force in the world, then I think that becomes very powerful. And the place I would start with brand mobility is to start with a Facebook page. So, for example, if you decide you're going to do doggy products, then make an I Love My Dog page on Facebook and get people to post pictures of their dogs. Start building an audience. Because once you have that 5,000 or 10,000 people on Facebook who like your page, that's an amazing audience. And you can offer them t-shirts, doggy products, like all kinds of cool things. You can offer them actual literal doggy treats or things that say, I love my dog. It's like that's a niche once you've built that. And the great thing is you can then put the I Love My Dog channel on YouTube, you can make an Instagram, and you can build up this kind of web of your brand. And I think that is really where you need to be aiming. Maybe not right now, like carry on doing retail arbitrage. The other great thing about retail arbitrage, and I've got to share this, the other great thing about retail arbitrage, it's market research. If you find a retail product that sells and is doing really, really well, then how can you replicate that? Can you either make your own version of the product, or can you make another product for the same audience or with the same keywords? Like, it becomes a really exciting opportunity. And this is kind of what I've started doing, is really looking at products that were very successful for me that I bought retail, and then looking at how I can replicate those. So for example, I mean, I think I've talked about this before. I did really, really well with Valentine's cards that had robots on. And I bought them from the dollar store, super simple product, but it's really hard to find Valentine's cards with robots on. And that sort of gives me the idea, okay, what if I print my own Valentine's cards? Then there's no competition. There's no other sellers on that listing. They are my exclusive Valentine's cards. And printing cards is super, super simple. There's a million websites now where you can wholesale order your own customized cards. So this is kind of how I'm using retail arbitrage now. Sell the retail product, test it out, find your audience, find your keywords, find what works, and then you can go deep, wholesale it, make your own version of the product. Like, don't copy, don't rip people off, but you can tap into that same audience, which I think is really, really powerful. So that's kind of what I have to say about, is retail arbitrage dead? No, it's not. It's really not dead. They're not shutting down retail arbitrage. They are getting stricter on some categories. There is an obvious push towards brand ownership. For example, I mean, and I talked about Marshalls and shoes and TJ Maxx and shoes. It does say when you apply to get ungated in clothes or shoe, I think in shoes as well, does ask whether you have authorization from the brands you're going to sell. And I know most people say, yes, absolutely, and then they sell retail products. So that's kind of against Amazon policy. They are kind of telling you that on certain high-end products that they want brand ownership. But are they going to enforce it? Have they enforced it? No. They will enforce it if there's a problem. If they start getting a lot of complaints about you, then they might enforce it. But I think the risk, if you're selling low-risk products, if you're just selling regular groceries, products from Walmart, notebooks, stationery, anything like that, I don't think there's much risk of having an authenticity claim. And even if you get one, you will be able to deal with it. I think the risk of an actual suspension is minimal. And I think even if all the things in Cynthia Stone's blog come true, and I'm not knocking her at all because I know she's done her research, she's talked to people, but even if those things come true, the fact that Amazon won't accept retail receipts in an authenticity claim, I still don't think the risk of suspension is that high. I think it's a very low risk. And I think if you're making big money doing retail arbitrage, you would be nuts to throw that away based off that risk. And I will reiterate again that as entrepreneurs, we have to accept a certain amount of risk in how we choose our business model. And sometimes the money comes from doing things that other people are scared to do. Like, I did make money standing in Nordstrom taking pictures. I didn't have any repercussions. I'm happy I did it. I won't recommend people did it, but I'm happy I did it. It worked out for me. I didn't do anything illegal. I didn't break the law. It was kind of obnoxious, perhaps, but I didn't. And I mean, I did it. And I would say if you are desperate and you need to build up capital, you've got to figure out what you can do that's legally and that's an acceptable risk. And that's the key here, is doing a strong risk analysis. What is the risk to me if I do this thing? Versus what are the consequences? Versus what are the benefits? So like, what's my chance of getting suspended? Versus how much money will I make? And at some point, there's a tipping point there. So that's kind of something that you all have to make your own decision on. And where you will fall on that depends on your own acceptability and tolerance for risk, and also where you are in your selling career. And that's something all businesses do. I mean, I've done a business degree. I've got a master's degree in business, and risk assessment is a huge portion of that. Like knowing what your actual risk is and not being so scared that you can't do anything, that it paralyzes you. That's a danger. That's a risk in itself. So just keep a level head, stay positive, and don't let the fear get to you. If you're doing something that makes money, don't stop doing it based on hearsay. Cool. Okay. I see lots of other people joining. I see Laurie, I see Melissa, and I see Jessie. Hi, Jessie. How are you doing? Yeah, Michelle, I agree with you. She says the most successful people are not risk averse. That's what I'm saying here. I think, like, I'm very much a believer in doing things white hat. I'm a believer in honesty. I'm always a believer in honesty and never lie, like never make stuff up, never steal from anyone, never take anything from anyone. But sometimes we put these barriers in our heads and we have the bogeyman in our heads, and it's not a real risk, or the risk is so minimal. It's like, okay, like I will admit I don't like flying. I haven't flown in a very long time. I came to America on a boat, and that's kind of stupid of me. And I will admit that logically this does not make sense. I go in a car every day, and I'm very aware that being in a car is a much bigger risk than flying. But I let my emotions get the better of me, and I don't fly because emotionally I'm like, I hate flying. But that's not good risk assessment. And I think what happens is when you read a scary blog post, it's kind of like that fear of flying. It's like you see a movie about a plane crash, and you're like, I'm never flying again. I'm never flying again. Terrible risk assessment. Like you're like, I'm throwing away my whole business based off this scare story I read on the internet. Terrible idea. Don't do it. okay, let's move on, because we talked about that. I'm going to do the contest results in a minute. I got my hat here. Before I talk about that, Jeff says shrubbery. I don't know why Jeff says shrubbery. He says slow death in a shrubbery. That would be a terrible plane crash if you landed in a shrubbery and died in a shrubbery. I'm not sure if that's what Jeff was saying. I have to come out of my comfort zone. Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, we do have to keep pushing ourselves. Like, it's really easy to get stuck in a comfort zone. But you can kind of ease yourself out of a comfort zone. You can take little steps and try things to come out of a comfort zone. And honestly, I mean, this is why I called my group treasure hunting. Because I really believe that the real treasure is not where the crowds are going. If the crowd are handing out BOLO lists and they're handing out, like, if everyone's running towards one thing, look somewhere else. If you go into an estate sale and there's a podium with a big beautiful urn on the top of it, don't buy the urn. Look under the table for all the knickknacks in the cardboard box that they haven't sorted through. That's where the real treasure's going to be. And the same is true for anything, like anything in this kind of business. We have to kind of look for our opportunities. And our opportunities are usually where other people are not looking. Once the crowd are in there looking, it's too late. Go find something else. And that's like such a big thing. Do the unexpected. I love that quote. Do the unexpected. Do something that no one else is doing. Like, find an opportunity. And sometimes you'll be scared. Sometimes you'll feel anxious because you're doing something no one else is doing. But it's like, that's the only way to like really succeed and do something pretty awesome. I'm loving all the little smileys and emojis coming up there. Okay, so I'm going to call the contest winner in a moment. Michelle, that's awesome. I see Michelle and Ken there. Keep calm and FBA on. That would make an awesome t-shirt. I love that idea. I made a post yesterday in Treasure Hunting about emotions. I strongly recommend reading that because I've been really thinking about emotions and how they drive buyer behavior. So do check that out as well. Okay, I'm going to do the contest results. Before that, I want to give a quick shout out to say that next week I am announcing our new Q4 class. Woohoo! I'm hoping to get the website launched on Tuesday. That's what we're aiming for. Isaac, bless him, poor Isaac. He's working very hard. So we're going to hopefully have our Q4 sign up available on Tuesday. I'll give you a little bit of a hint about it. The theme is Q4 the chill way. So like while everyone's freaking out, running to Best Buy in the middle of the night, buying huge flat screen televisions, and getting elbowed in the ear at Walmart, and they're living on freezer meals, and outsourcing their kids to a babysitter, you will be chilling. You will be chilling and checking your sales. That is the theme for our Q4 class, Christmas the chill way. And we're going to be focusing primarily on getting your own product launched. And we're going to do it in a very simple way. So if private label freaks you out, if it makes you super anxious, this is a very gentle slope to having your own product launched. We will give you we will give you a walkthrough on creating a listing. So you will know exactly how to create a listing, and we will give you a ton of supplier information, wholesale information. It's going to be across 3 classes. And also, I will be talking about retail. I'll be talking about retail and bundles. And everything that we talk about will be relevant to whatever you're doing. So whether you want to do retail, whether you want to jump in and do white label, whether you want to do bundles, or whether you're doing merch or create space, there will be something in it for you, because it will be all about Christmas. It will be all about winter, seasonal products, what people are dealing with in the winter, how people are feeling, what they're looking for, what people want to buy. We'll be giving a bunch of research information, keywords, niches, wholesalers, suppliers, just tons and tons of information, articles, resources, all about Christmas. So look out for that on Tuesday. I think it's going to be 3 classes, 2 in September and then a catch-up session in October. So it'll be 3 classes, and I'm also going to do a Google class. And that's going to be an add-on. You can either buy the Google class on its own, or you can add the Google class. And the Google class is going to be about using Google Trends, Google Keyword Planner, Correlate, and a bunch of other awesome Google tools, like the lesser known Google tools and the secret Google tools, to find things like artwork, product ideas, market research, statistics, and the keyword planner is absolutely phenomenal. I will go further and say Skywords is a good tool, but keyword planner will give you insane data. I don't use merchant words. I use Skywords, but I use Skywords with Google Keyword Planner, and I think it's a really powerful tool, and I'll be walking through how to use that. So that's 2 classes, the Q4 class, the Google class, and I will be launching those next week, and you can sign up for them either separately or as a bundle. Yay, bundles! So you've got that to look forward to next week. And I'm really excited about it. I'm sitting and researching and getting all my Q4 information together. I'm really happy to share everything that's worked for me in Q4 past, what I'm doing this Q4, and all the cool ideas I have. And there's a lot of them. So I think it's going to be pretty awesome. The bunny hill of private label. I love that, Kay. That is just awesome. Okay, so it's been a fun show. I've gone on longer than I thought, which is terrible because it's Midnight's birthday today, guys. She is 13. I will put the price out next week. It's going to be affordable. We're not going with a high price, but I am finalizing that at the moment, Kelly. So we will put that out next week. Expect it on Tuesday. We're going to aim for Tuesday. But I'm going to keep the price low. I really want to. I'd rather have lots of us doing it and keep it affordable, and so we can all support each other. And there will be so many ideas. It will be awesome, no matter how many people there are. Where do you find the classes? I will announce it in my Facebook group in treasure hunting. So it's facebook.com/groups/Catherine Treasure. It will probably be at q4.blueskysuite.com, but we haven't set that up yet, but it will probably be there. Cool. All right, guys, I'm going to announce now the winner of our big contest. And the contest is, it was for our 11111. I don't know how many ones. 11,111 people joined treasure hunting, which is super amazing. So to celebrate, we're having a contest. We're giving away 1 Create membership to our big Create mega course. The information for Create is at blueskysuite.com. You can go there, blueskysuite.com, find out all about Create. It includes a 15-hour course on white label. It includes our bundle masterclass, our coloring book, introduction class. What else does it have? Introduction to sexual wellness and Facebook magic marketing. So it includes all those courses now. And it has all our software, Skywords, which is awesome. The Niche Machine, which is very under talked about, but I love the Niche Machine. I use it all the time myself. It has over 10, actually now it's 12,000 niches ranked by search volume. So that's a pretty amazing tool. It also has Sky Palette, which is great for color coordinating your products. It has Sky AI, like it just has so much in it. So we're giving away membership to that. I'm also giving away membership to the upcoming Q4 class that we just talked about. And I'm giving away a $20 Amazon gift card for you to spend on whatever you like. I recommend coffee, but you can spend it on anything you like. We had over 150 entries, and they're all in this hat. So I'm going to pick a winner now. Guys, your answers were all just amazing. Everyone said why they wanted to win it, and I was so touched by so many of them. A lot of you showed me pictures of your babies, your dogs, your gorgeous children, and if I could be Oprah and say, you get a Create course, I really would have done it, but Isaac wouldn't let me. Boo! I can blame Isaac. But I'm going to pick a winner, and really, I would have loved to have given you all the prize, but the winner is... Dun, 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 dun. Oh, let me open it. Ken Carr. Ken Carr, you are the winner. I don't know if you're here, Ken Carr, but I will send you a message So you are the winner of our 11111 contest. Congratulations. Send me your email address and on Facebook, and then I can send you your prizes. Cool. Congratulations. Oh, Felicia says, guys, don't forget Search Blast. Yeah, thanks for the shout out, Felicia. If you haven't tried it, try searchblast.net. Searchblast.net. It is our search, I don't know what it is. It's a research tool that we put together. And it's so cool. It's just like such an awesome way of brainstorming product ideas, like all kinds of things. So if you haven't tried it yet, try searchblast.net. Thank you for the shout out, Felicia. And have a great afternoon. Watch out for Q4. It will be back next. It will be announced next week. And thank you to everyone who has joined me on YouTube and on Facebook. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate it. And now I know how to do it, so we can get it up and running quicker next time. All right, have a great afternoon, guys. Enjoy your Sunday evening. Bye.